Well, hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today I want to talk to you about a few things. One is I have something on my mind that I'm probably going to ramble at you, and I hope it makes some coherent sense. And the other thing is I want to bring up a new challenge, which is actually a redux of an old challenge of mine, but we'll get to that in a bit. So first and foremost, I want to bring up something that has been crossing my mind about the community at large, but also just with how the things in the world are going right now. So I think right now we are definitely living in a fantastic age when it comes to physical media. Obviously, we have so many great boutique releases, and they're putting out some wonderful content, and a lot of them in various formats. I know more recently a lot of companies have shifted over to 4K, which is great, and I love it. But the other thing too is we also have access to streaming, right? And we're actually have more than ever, we're able to stream films, rent films from various places. We have access to a lot of different streaming services and access to films than we ever have in the past before. So our collecting, right, the physical media side of things, it's a niche of a niche, right? This is something that we are doing and what we're interacting with on this channel. But the most important thing here, I think, to me, something that I might have lost just a little bit in the fanfare of collecting, is the joy of just exploring a film and not really thinking too much about it outside of the context of, like, how am I going to tackle this as somebody who's watching this for entertainment or as a student, right, as something. So there's like a little bit of a mixture of that. And then I also have, YouTube that I want to showcase and share the things that I've been watching. So with my thoughts here is, I think recently there's just been like this, like I was saying, fire hydrant of films released from boutique labels. And it's almost really difficult to keep up with the Joneses, for a lack of a better term. And this is something that has really just been on my mind a little bit, and something that, thinking about space in general, but also thinking about, okay, how many films do I have that I haven't seen? And I know a lot of you have these same things that cross your mind, and I've also talked about this several times on my channel in some instance, right? So with that being said, I do want to know and hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below of how are some ways that you tackle buying and collecting, but also at the same time watching films. So I know for some people, you're able to buy a film and then watch it as soon as possible, and that's fantastic. As someone like me, I like to buy a lot of things and then just kind of get to it when I do, which, has its pros and its cons, right? I don't miss out on some things that are going out of print, but I also don't want to have that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out. I don't also want to just buy something because it looks shiny, and it's something that I'm really thinking about a little bit more as I'm going through this. And a lot of this isn't new information to you, and I know a lot of you have heard about this ad nauseum from a lot of people, but I do really want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below about this whole concept. Do you stream films or do you rent films before you buy them? I would love to know down in the comment section down below how you tackle this certain subject, because I think it's definitely something that's really important for us all to realize, like, kind of how we want to tackle movie watching, right? And why we're here in the first place, why we love this medium in the first place, and to get at the things that really just make us go along with why we enjoy this so much. So anyway, I hope that rambling made a little bit of sense, but I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. So with that being said, I think this is a really good transition to a challenge to tackle my collection a little bit of unwatched films. And I do this quite often, and I know a lot of people have various ways to do this. And this is actually an old challenge of mine that I'm reduxing a little bit, and I'm changing it up a little bit, just changing the rules. So the director's challenge, something that I've done in the past where I think I picked Sidney Lumet last year, and I decided to really just focus on Sidney Lumet's filmography of the things that I haven't seen from the director. And I think at the end of the day, I might have tackled like 15 films from this person. I could be wrong. My memory's a little short. But today I want to showcase that with another director, but I want to change this up a little bit. And I think in this original challenge that I talked about, I also had these rules, but I want to change this name to the Spotlight Challenge. So the Spotlight Challenge is you can take 10 films from a director, an actor, a cinematographer, a writer, you name it, right? You get to choose what you're spotlighting. And for this particular video that I'm doing, and the spotlight that I want to focus on, is Alfred Hitchcock. Someone who is very famous, and most people have seen a lot of his films, right? And a lot of you have seen them multiple times, over and over and over again. But I had about 10 films in my collection that I haven't seen from Alfred Hitchcock, and recently, in the Criterion flash sale, I was able to pick up The Lodger, and I hadn't seen this film, nor had I seen Downhill, which came alongside this film in the Criterion release, both from 1927 and both silent pictures. And I just realized, like, oh yeah, I also have this thing on my shelf, the Kino Lorber release of Hitchcock British International Pictures Collection, which has 5 films in it, 4 of them which are silent as well. So I was able, over the last week and a half, watch all 7 of these films, right? And I've been having a really good time with it. Some of them are better than others, Lodger being probably the best of the entire bunch, right? But there are a few really nice gems in here too. So I had The Lodger I watched, Downhill, The Ring, The Farmer's Wife, Champagne, The Manxman, and The Skin Game, right? So all of these films are from 1927. The first 3 that I mentioned, 1928, 2 of them. The Manxman's 1929, and The Skin Game's 1931. So early Hitchcock films, but I had 7 films here that, out of that, if I was decided to do a spotlight challenge, I have, 3 films left that I wanted to tackle. But that means I also had a few other titles in my collection that I haven't seen, surprisingly. Jamaica Inn being one, Dial M for Murder being another. I still haven't seen these films in my collection, and I definitely wanted to spotlight Hitchcock because I'm just in the mood for it. And I think that's, at the end of the day, goes back to what I was mentioning earlier, is how do we tackle the things that we want to watch, or how do we keep up with the Joneses per se. It's all dependent on our mood, and it's all dependent on what we're in the mood for and what time we have given to us. So I decided to tackle these 9 films, and then also, since I wanted to do this to be a challenge to get to 10, I also added the Hitchcock and Truffaut documentary that I wanted to add to it, and I think it kind of counts. But like I said, this is a challenge that you can break your own rules in some instance. You can have it like half writers, half director, I don't know. But what I want you to do at the end of the day is really just kind of enjoy this at your own pace. And it's not necessarily something you have to do because maybe you're not in the mood to do something like this, and that's totally fine. But I think it's really cool and important that I'm going to be going forward on this channel. I'm going to have Flights of Fancy where I do want to do a spotlight challenge, and I think that's what I'm in the middle of right now. So I'm tackling these 10 films, and yeah, I will do a video later on my thoughts on all of them. And I might as well add in Hitchcock, which I know is a film that not everyone enjoyed, but it's a biography on it. So anyway, I'm going to watch these films and talk about them in a little bit later, and a spotlight challenge video. And so I'm going to welcome this new series on the channel, but also want to invite all of you to jump into this in any way that you can, and also just tackle your collection. It doesn't even have to be physical media. That's what I was getting at earlier. You can definitely rent something, stream something. This is all a possibility. Get something from the library, right? Just check it out. I think this is a good opportunity to really just kind of enjoy the medium as is coming to us, the things that we want to enjoy as we're watching these things. So like I said, watching The Lodger just got me back on Hitchcock, and that's something I'm like, yeah, I want to watch more Hitchcock films, and also I wanted to watch more silent pictures. And so, ta-da, I actually had means of saying like, oh, I actually have some things I already have in my collection that I haven't seen. And I think this was a really good kind of catalyst for this challenge. And so I hope that's the same case for you. Maybe you have watched something recently that's in your mind, and you're like, wow, I really like this aspect about this film. See if I can watch something 10, maybe 9 more other things that are related to that in some instance, and you can even get creative with this and go in any direction you want to. So anyway, I'm rambling. Once again, this whole video is a ramble, but I wanted to share my thoughts on a few things when it comes to the collecting community in general, but also the idea of just starting up this new Spotlight Challenge, and I wanted to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of really exciting things coming onto the channel, and I'm very excited to show them with you and hear from you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.